Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, as always, and shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today? I don't know why I added that at all, as always. As if it was, like, gonna change. Well, that'd be something crazy. What if I just, like, started one of these videos and it was like, oh, I'm not Dear Darling, but we're still gonna see what's going on in Island of Fawnhollow today. Be like, I don't know, I'm Keanu Reeves. I don't know why he was the first person who came to mind. That'd be pretty crazy, you know? Instead of actually making videos, I just hire a load of celebrities to play me every single time. But honestly, I kind of want to see that, but also, obviously I don't have that sort of money to go hire celebrities, so let's leave that in my pipe dreams for now. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 5:20 PM on Monday, April 5th, 2021. Now for today's announcements, visit the campsite. Woo! Who's it gonna be? Who you gonna root for? Who's it gonna be? Will it be Heather, Alejandro, or will you pick Cody? Hey, is that a Phineas and Ferb reference? No, absolutely not. That's a Total Drama World Tour, the musical reference. I don't remember what it's called. It had two different names. I don't know why they always do that. Not always do that. Like them specifically, but creators of Total Drama. No, more like localization things. You know, for Europe and for America, it's always different for some reason. Tell me, Rambler, what did you have for dinner last night? Will you have it again tonight? Can I have some? I'll bring my own plate. It smelled so good. What did I have for dinner last night? It was Easter, so we had a lamb roast. It was delicious. But I'm not sure we're gonna have roast two nights in a row. Anyway, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, but localization of things is always different in Europe and America for not some unfathomable reason. Sometimes it makes sense. I don't know why I have this memory. Oh, I know you. You're not Truffles. You're the other pig. Lucy. Oh, I actually didn't know who you were. Hi there, Olivia. You're so lucky. I'm just listening. Snoink? Snoink. Unfortunately, Lucy, you're not one of the fabled four we're looking for. A fantastic four we're looking for, so we'll have to give you a pass for now. What was I saying? I know it was a weed here, though. Sorry, small pause there. What was I talking about? I was talking about, localization. Oh yeah, I don't know why I remember this random thing. This random, like, anecdote, story, I suppose. Excuse me, I didn't mean to dig that up. But it was, let me think, in sixth form, I believe, in an organic chemistry lesson, one of our teachers, it was, of course, the end of school time. Not school time, an end of one of the school times. Maybe it was like Christmas time or something. Of course, the teacher lovingly prepared a quiz for us to have, which is honestly very fun and very kind of them to prepare these quizzes, because they do so in their own time. I mean, I suppose they produce all sorts of... Wait, is this a black rose? Oh wait, no, I am duplicating a black rose. That is right. And the only thing I remember is that... actually, I remember a few things on that quiz. One of them was like a dingbat question or whatever, where he drew like a clock of all of them in here. The clock had like 4 hands pointing to 2, 3, 5, and 7. And he was like, what does this mean? And I was like, oh, it's prime time. Got that one right, because I love dingbats. Actually, that's a story for another time, but the other thing I remember was it was about a movie, which maybe I don't remember as well as I thought, because I can't quite remember the movie title, but it was was that like Bill and Ted? But the question was like, what was Bill and Ted's Christmas vacation, no, like Christmas holiday called in America or something? And no one on my team like had ever heard of a movie. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like Bill and Ted's Christmas Vacation or something. Turns out that's exactly what it is. And I was like, wow, you know, that makes sense, localization wise. Of course, in America, a vacation is equivalent of an English holiday in most aspects, so you know, localization there makes sense. You know what localization doesn't make sense? Why is Jakey called Jakey? Maybe it's just the UK or the European version of Animal Crossing instead of Jacob. I mean, Jacob's a name in England, and probably the rest of the UK as well. Yeah, again, I don't know any Jacobs in Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. I do know a Jacob here in England, though. Not very well, mind you, but I know of a Jacob, I should say. And is that like, why change your name? In fact, I don't even know a Jakey. I know Jake, or used to, but that's sort of in the past now, isn't it? haven't spoken to him for, well, basically ever. He was like a friend I had back in, no, sorry, not friend. He was elder brother to this girl in primary school. So I didn't know him particularly well, unsurprisingly, because, you know, back in primary school, you friends with your friends' siblings? Oh, maybe, I don't know, sort of depends on the person. Anyway, what's my point? And localization, things like that. Like, I wonder if it really makes a difference, because presumably the whole reason they do localization for these sort of things is like, that they've got people analysing the data of all that sort of thing, and they've come through rigorous analysis and public surveying and control group testing. Is that what? Focus group testing, there we go. They concluded that this was the best name or localization to go with that would appeal either most of a consumer or clarify it most of a consumer or confuse them less. Because the one I always think about is Zootopia, as it's often called in English. That Disney movie with what are their names? Nick, what's that fox's name? Nick Wilde, I think. I hope it's Wilde. They're all like animal puns, right? So that seems kind of reasonable. And Judy Hopps. There we go. I don't know why that stuck with me in my memory. Anyway, if for some reason in UK release, or maybe it's just an English release, I don't know, it's called Zootropolis. Why? I don't know what that's a reference from. But it's like, one, Zootropolis sounds way worse than Zootopia, because, you know, Zootopia sounds utopia. There's a whole pun thing going on. So it's got the added benefit of being a nice thing to that rolls off a tongue. Zootropolis, what? It's called a metropolis. You don't go Zetropolis, Zetropolis, or Metzopolis. I don't know where I'm going with this. Basically, you can't really make a pun out of metropolis. So why rename it? Now, obviously, they have their reasons for the bigwigs in business or the creative director team. I don't know who being actually in control of it. Presumably, the creative writing team or whoever came up with a name for Zootopia, or like the marketing team maybe? I don't know, is that something marketing people do? Anyway, whoever came up with it, they clearly came up with some sort of reason. I let go of it. But in England, apparently Zootopia, not the best name for it, Zootropolis. That's 10 out of 10 name. Why? I don't understand. It's a worse name, I know. At least, I can't think of a convincing reason why Zootropolis would be better than Zootopia, apart from the fact that they imagine that utopia is not a well-known or used phrase for kids in the UK, which must be my only presumption, but they somehow think metropolis is something which is something kids are more familiar with. And I suppose, which one I disagree with, I don't know, I don't have the data to back it up, so honestly, there's not really much point in me standing behind that sort of opinion. But it's sort of like I can't imagine that's true. I look grim, don't worry. The alternative is, because I think young kids probably definitely know the word utopia, or at least will understand it pretty convincingly. Learn it from a young age. Metropolis, I think you could explain to them, it's like a sprawling city, or well, actually I don't know what the technical definition of a metropolis is, but that sort of vibe. So my thought is that the renaming from Zootopia to Zootropolis was the idea that they wanted to portray a much more urban, sprawling city sort of idea with its naming system in England than they did in America and whatever other English-speaking countries it was released in. Why, though, is a good question. Because I suppose, to be fair, Zootopia, a central part of the entire thing is this whole, from a human outside looking in, is this whole idea of a animal city that they live in. Sprawling city with different regions and a completely different culture, I suppose, to human culture in some aspects, which I suppose doesn't get quite across. That point doesn't get quite across in Zootopia. It makes it sound like it's like heaven on earth, that sort of pace, which honestly, the point of the movie is that it's not, but isn't that kind of a point? The whole point is understanding how it's not really utopia that Zootopia is set out to be. Another manila clam? How's this come about? how there's like speciesism, I guess, inherent within all the creatures. Obviously, they tread on water very. They tiptoe around the eggshells very lightly because it being a Disney movie, they of course don't want to ruffle any feathers of a public eye or whatever. So, you know, they treat delicate topics with a very light dusting, I suppose. Either way, the underlying themes are still there, and I think they're even quite evident to a young child. I must assume. I don't know. And again, got nothing to back it up with, seeing as I was not a young child when I watched it. Actually, how old was I when it came out? 18ish? Sounds about right. So yeah, the whole point, I think, of Zootopia is the fact that it's selling itself as it's meant to be, like, ooh, this is paradise for animals. We all live in harmony and peace and that sort of thing, but, you know, there's something sinister going on underneath the hood, which obviously they don't go into as much. Shout out to Beastars, by the way, which delves into that topic a bit more. Apparently there's got season 3 coming soon for that. That's pretty exciting. Still haven't seen any of it yet. I've seen the first episode and haven't got around to watching it yet. I just don't know why. I've read all the manga, mind you. And it's going to get geared. Actually, I don't know. Where's it gone up to? It's gone up to that plot point. That I obviously don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I'm trying to think how I can phrase it. Well, okay. I'm pretty sure I know where it's got up to. Which is honestly one of the best parts of manga. It gets a bit stranger in the very, very later parts of the manga, but still pretty good. Oh, sorry, Mira. Anyway, what was my point? Yeah, my point was localization option. But by changing it from Zootopia to Zootropolis, okay, benefit. You get the added connotation that this is a sprawling city that they're living in. Okay, you convey that very well. Not gonna lie, that conveys it much better than Zootopia does. Okay. Downside, you lose out on a great pun from not a great pun, but like a good enough pun from Utopia to Zootopia, which is, you know, it actually works. From Metropolis to Zootropolis. I even said it wrong. And it doesn't make any sense. Why is it called that? It's not a pun, doesn't roll off the tongue, I see. Okay, and also, another downside, it loses the deeper imagery and the thematic themes. Thematic themes. That doesn't make sense. How to phrase this? It's losing the depth, I suppose, in the themes with how it mirrors it in the movie title, that sort of thing. I have no idea if Gulliver said anything new there, so we'll just sort of ignore him. As we hop on over to the Nook Terminal. Yeah, so I don't know. That must be a good reason for it. Actually, to be fair, Zootopia's got a very nice place of a tidbit of localization. Because a lot of Disney and Pixar. Zootopia wasn't Pixar, right? No, Zootopia was Disney. Have like tend to have quite nice like localization for different countries or cultures it's released in. We don't need any of this stuff. We can get Prom Stash. I'm never gonna use a Prom Stash. Let's be honest. But there's a scene where it goes to like a newscaster duo or something. You go peep the local news or whatever, and then the two reporters. One of them is always like a leopard or something. I can't remember which it was, and the other one is dependent on the country you're in. Like in the UK, there's a corgi, I believe. In America, the standard one. I can't remember what it was in the standard one. Now I think about it. But things like in Japan, it was a tanuki, which is a Japanese raccoon dog. It's the second time we ran into you. Really? First was in your dreams. Oh, I was gonna say. What? How are you in my dreams? Not me in your dreams. Suppose it depends if you view yourself as a protagonist or not. Let's go find these rocks. And then maybe we'll move some coconut trees. I'm trying to think what it was in other countries. I think like in Brazil it was something, but I don't remember what. Someone compiled them all together. At some point, and I saw it on the internet. I was like, oh, what a nice little detail. I didn't buy wrapping paper, did I? Whoops. I wonder if I can find out online if I just Google it. Probably. I don't see why people wouldn't. Zootopia News Anchor Localization. Zootopia News Network. It's on the wiki. Ooh. Let's see. Peter Moosebridge News Anchor. Fabian Growley. David Koalabal. So let's see. In Canada, I guess it was a moose. Maybe this is in America as well. In the United States, Canada, France, and numerous other countries, the anchor is a moose named Peter Moosebridge. Okay, so that's the standard de facto one. In UK, he's a moose named Musus Alexander. What? I thought he was a corgi. Maybe I remembered it wrong. I didn't see the UK version, to be fair. I saw the US version, I think. Why do we have red flowers? I don't know. That's a bit strange. Flip will come back to you. We're going to go put this flower down. This singular yellow rose. Are these growing? Yeah, they are growing, right? Yeah, definitely, because we planted them as coconuts just beforehand. We'll go sell the others. In New Zealand, Australia, he's a koala bear named David Koala Bell. In Japan, he's a excuse me, can you jump over this, please? There we go. In Brazil, he's a jaguar named, I don't even know how to say this, Oncado Boicha. I'm saying it with a very Chinese sort of lilt. In Japan, he's a Japanese raccoon dog named Michael Tanuyama. Fair enough. In China, he's a nameless panda. Yeah, okay. This is interesting part. Each co-anchor is named after, inspired, and voiced by a celebrity reporter from a native country. Respective country, not native. Doesn't really make much sense. It's like, that's pretty cool. I really thought he was a corgi. I don't know why I thought he was a corgi in the UK version. Let's not start that stone, we need it. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, close that there. Am I making this up? Zootopia corgi. It's not a thing? What? Why did I think this is a thing? That's like some Berenstein's bear effect. You know, the effect where you remember something wrong, you've always thought it's been that way or something. Of course, the Berenstein bears effect as it happens on a large scale, but that could be a topic for another video if I can remember it. Sorry, my conversation's a bit stilted today. I'm not entirely sure why. My thoughts are a bit messy. Yeah, Disney do a lot of this sort of localization things. I only know that because I suppose Disney's watched by more people around the world, so people are more likely to notice it. I don't know. Or you just hear about it more. So I remember in Inside Out as well, Riley was eating vegetables. And in the standard one, like in America and UK, she's eating broccoli, I think. And she goes, ew, broccoli, and she like knocks it off. But like in Japan or whatever, broccoli is not seen as like the disgusting vegetable that kids don't want to eat. Mind you, it's not in UK either, I don't think. I feel like that's Brussels sprouts, but still. So they had to replace it. Well, they didn't have to replace it, they chose to replace it. And they replaced it with green bell peppers, because bell peppers is basically the equivalent of broccoli in Japan. Which I know, I suppose, from some of my anime knowledge. Well, that's the sort of thing which stereotypically kids hate to eat, or whatever. Now, of course, me not being a kid, I'm like, oh, peppers, vegetables, kind of fine. I always liked broccoli growing up, and peppers were fine. What did I not like eating when I was younger? That's a good question. Celery, maybe? I'm not super fan of it. Well, on its own. In something, I'll still eat it. Like, if it's... I'll eat basically anything, to be fair. As long as it's edible. And if it's in something else, yeah, sure, I'm not going to complain. There's very few things I would refuse ever to eat. But in fact, I can't even think of something I'd refuse to eat, so... I mean, if you gave it to me, I'd just like, I'm not going to turn it down. I'd be like, yeah, thank you for food. Anyway, what's I saying? Yeah, so she's refusing to eat green peppers. What? Green bell peppers in the Japanese version. There's also another scene where the dad's daydreaming about watching sports ball, whatever. And in the American version, he's watching like American football. I believe in UK versions, he's watching soccer, as you would call it, or football, as we would call it. In the Canadian version, he's watching ice hockey, I believe. Yeah, again, maybe I remember that one wrong. It was another sort of thing where I'm like, I'm giving Disney too much credit. Wait, Inside Out was Disney or Disney Pixar? I can't remember. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. Well, those sort of things, it's interesting to see your localization. That's good localization, you know? Befitting it to the norms and culture, I suppose, of the country, rather than just leaving like in a detail which would not have the same cultural necessarily impact, or not cultural impact, but like same effect. No, like the broccoli thing in Japan. It just seemed like a weird scene because like, kids love broccoli. But I guess you could still justify it in your head as you're watching. You'd be like, oh yeah, she probably just doesn't want to eat vegetables or whatnot. I also did not realise you can just straight up give your villagers money. At least it seemed to be an option to give to Flip Fair. Okay, let's palm trees. Let's grow some palm trees. Over on the left side. I don't know how many we need. I should have probably checked that first before we do these coconut. Let's go check it now. We'll have a ponder. Wander over yonder. You might say if you're trying to reference some cartoon, which I don't really understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them. Okay, this seems fairly doable. If only you could eat a stack of coconuts at once. Now we're gonna have to eat 9 coconuts separately, which is not the most fulfilling meal, I must say, for any Animal Crossing villager. But here we are. We don't have much choice of food items to eat. We got seafood and we got fruits. Not even any vegetables. That's 4. This is 5. Apparently we already used these coconut trees, so I have to hop over somewhere else. Let me think. Can I think of more localization, good or bad? I don't know, because I used to love Mario Party a lot when I was younger. So I remember I always used to watch, like, for some reason, people doing like world records in the minigames. And that's how I even learned about it in the first place. There's NTSC and PAL versions. PAL being UK versions, NTSC being American ones. And like sometimes the minigames would change between them. That's not really localization, but that's sort of like bug fixing, I suppose. Or different things being approved differently for different boards and regulations. Which is fair enough. That happened in Mario Party 8. I remember it used a word, I believe, which in American is not seen as something particularly rude, but in UK it is seen as rather rude, disrespectful, shall we say. So they had to quickly replace that with something a bit more fitting. Do I remember what it was? Not really. I just remember I read that story once and I was like, wow, can't believe I didn't know that. I played a heck of a lot of Mario Party 8. Because I love playing Mario Party. Well, not really so much more recent ones. In fact, I love playing so much Mario Party. I remember I've done 2 episodes about Mario Party, just talking about it. And it was one of the times I repeated a topic in these Animal Crossing videos. I do surprisingly well not repeating many of these topics. Not saying I haven't repeated stories or things like that, but... Oh no, it's fine to eat it. Meant to plant it though. Because, you know, it happens. After so many days, you can only have so many finite topics, and localization apparently was the one I chose today, but it's actually quite hard to talk about because I can't... I kind of run out of examples outside of the ones I started off with. And I'm trying to think of something. I mean, I suppose this isn't really a localization really thing, but I remember when I went to China, back in my days of watching My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, it started playing on the Chinese TV, and I was like, whoa, well, on the Chinese TV, well, I guess all Chinese TVs in China, but, oh, that's not necessarily true. And I was staying at my uncle's, always staying at my uncle's house, and it just suddenly started coming on. Like an episode started playing on TV, and I was like, whoa, this is My Little Pony. And so I watched it for a little bit. And I don't really remember much of it, but the thing that intrigued me most was instead of it being like a full 30-minute like episode that you'd expect from a cartoon, it was actually like they spliced that episode up into a load of different shorts and clips of it. It was, which episode was it? It was like Lunar Eclipse or something? The Halloween one? Is that right? No, because it was whichever one had Princess Luna and Scootaloo in. Which I don't really recall which one that is, but still. I just remember it's like, I found it interesting instead of having it being like a full proper episode, like 20-minute episode with like a 10-minute ad break in the middle. In China, it was just like that same episode, but cut up into like 5-minute shots, and it like just jumps from interesting scene to interesting scene. Which, now I think about it, it might be just the way that cartoons are in China, because there's this popular cartoon called Xi Yang Yang, which just means like, well, I think full title is like Xi Yang Yang and Hui Tai Lang or whatever, which is just like pleasant sheep and grey wolf. Which honestly, that should be its own. That's another great topic to talk about. And it was a popular cartoon, a kids' cartoon in China, and that one feels very sort of like you're just watching a load of scenes in turn, from what I remember, rather than it being, I think it was like a full-length cartoon, but like 20-minute episode thing, but it felt like it was very episodic. Well, what's the equivalent for episodic, but taking place within one episode? Scenic, I guess, but that doesn't. That's got different connotations, which is not really what I was going for. But it could just be maybe because it was a foreign cartoon. That's just how they spliced it up to try and fit it in a 10-minute gap or something. Because, you know, perhaps they didn't expect it to be popular or whatever in China, which is fair enough, because I don't think it was. Or it might be, I don't know. It's hard to imagine mine apparently wouldn't be popular. But that's from a very Western viewpoint, I suppose. In China they have Hello Kitty. And all sorts of Sanrio characters that they can pick and choose from. Well, I guess every country has Hello Kitty, to be honest. And she's a rather prominent force everywhere in existence, is she not? Okay, let's plant some more trees around here. Let's plant this one here. It's going to look so much better in different seasons. Hopefully. If it doesn't look better in different seasons. Like, why don't the actual leaves fall off in winter, huh? That'd make more sense. Oh, these two are talking over here. Hello, what are you talking about? Do you know who knows all about flowers? Mira. Nutty. I'd never have guessed. Hey, why wouldn't I know about flowers? Humph. Oh, whatever. I don't want to brag too much, but he's right. I know all about flowers. What do you want me to tell you about? Lilies, cosmosis, roses. Red like roses. Different colours have different meanings, so switch up depending on who you're giving roses to. For a gal pal, try yellow. They mean friendship. Buy orange roses for a guy friend. They mean trust. Ooh, man, I want to get an orange rose from somebody. But I never get trusted with anything. Aww. So you see, flowers are blooming with interesting facts. Next time you're giving someone flowers, take a second to drop some flower facts on them too. Yeah. I believe that those are both correct from what my limited flower knowledge, which I can't really remember. Red, of course, meaning like true love or whatever. White being innocence, I think. White's always innocence. You can kind of guess what the flower language would be, because they're like very similar throughout all the different flowers. Excellent new nickname for you. So much better than Junebug. It really is. Truly superb. Wow, what is it? Alright, here it is. Hun. Perfect, don't you think? I like it. I like you, sweetheart. What? Sorry, I didn't actually read that properly. It fits in with us giving Vivian pet names as catchphrases. Sweetheart, honey, sugar, hun. Now it actually makes sense. We don't have enough space over here to put the trees, but I guess we need to put the trees over here to lead up to the house as well. I guess it's an interesting dichotomy that if we're going to have the bell trees on the left side and the empty trees on the right side, it's sort of like a... I don't know. Is there deeper meaning in that? Maybe. Anyway, I don't know. Strange episode. Low energy, I suppose, as always. But I suppose we'll round off here. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, all greatly appreciated. Links down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time... That's the wrong button. I forgot how to wave. Bye-bye for now.